Hey y'all, we are back with another video, and today we are talking about all things decluttering. I am going to give you my top 3 decluttering tips so that you can feel successful in your decluttering efforts without the overwhelm. So if you struggle with a little decluttering, make sure you stay tuned because I'm going to be giving you some fire tips that you can implement right away to tackle those decluttering projects in your home. Before I dive into these juicy tips, you already know the drill. Hit that notification bell and subscribe to my channel so you can be the first to know when I load more videos. All right, so now that that's out the way, let's go ahead and dive in. So you guys know I am a professional organizer, so I get to declutter with all of the clients that I work with. And here's what I want you to pay attention to before we start this entire decluttering extravaganza, right? I want you to adjust the way you think about decluttering, editing, purging. Again, those words are synonymous, but here's the thing. When you're thinking about decluttering or editing, you have to think that you are creating space. It's not about getting rid of the things that you absolutely love, use, or need. It's not about that. It's really about creating space for the things that you absolutely love, use, and need. So once you've already come to terms with the idea of purging, editing, or decluttering, it's a little bit easier to get through the process again without overwhelm and feel like you made some progress with what you're doing. All right, so we've gotten that out of the way. Let's go ahead and dive into what the first tip is when it comes to decluttering without overwhelm. First tip is to start small. So you're not going to set aside an entire weekend or 5 hours to tackle your garage or your massive walk-in pantry, right? It's not what we're doing. I want you to start with a small space, a space that is not going to automatically freak you out as soon as you walk in there, right? So something like a small closet or a junk drawer. These are more manageable decluttering projects and it's not going to make you panic, right? Where people go wrong is they start too big, they haven't built up their endurance to really declutter, they haven't really developed any type of decluttering process, and they set aside too much time for a big project, and then they get overwhelmed, they quit prematurely, or they just never finish the project. That's where people go wrong. But you're not going to mess up there because you know you are going to start small. So here's the thing. If you're not used to decluttering, you have to build up your muscle endurance to do it, right? It's kind of like working out. When you go to the gym for the very first time, your body's gonna feel really sore and you may not wanna go back because you haven't built up the endurance. Same thing with decluttering. When you start decluttering projects, it's really important to start small so that you can build up your endurance to get to those bigger projects, right? So same concept applies to working out to decluttering. What I like to work on with my clients are called mini win cycles. The whole concept behind mini win cycles is that you are decluttering small projects at a time to develop a win cycle to feel really good about the progress you've made over that decluttering process, and then over time you develop more and more of these mini win cycles until you get to those bigger decluttering projects in your home and you feel like you can manage those projects, you have the endurance built up, and you just feel more confident that you can be successful and that you will be successful. Here's my question to you. I'm curious to know, what small project are you going to take on to develop those mini win cycles? Meet me in the comments below to let me know. Here's the second tip as it pertains to decluttering your home without the overwhelm. You have to be absolutely ruthless. What I see so often is people creating these hypothetical situations as to why they have to keep certain things in their home. Listen, you don't. You know those if-then statements that you come up in your head? If I go to this party, then I'll have this white dress. But then you have 5 white dresses, right? Those are the hypothetical situations that you really don't need to keep certain things in your home. You have to be ruthless. So here's my hack to help you get through this decluttering project without the hypotheticals. Establish rules before you start decluttering anything in the small space that you fit. So let's just say, for instance, you are tackling, I don't know, a drawer in your kitchen and it has all of your utensils, but you come across 5 spatulas. I want you to have a rule already established before you start decluttering that if you come across duplicates, you're going to keep the best and you're going to donate the rest. Or if it's broken, you're automatically going to trash it or recycle it, right? These are the types of rules that you can establish prior to decluttering that is going to help you overcome the hypotheticals and get through different things in the spaces you're organizing quicker, again, without the overwhelm. And the last tip, this is probably my favorite tip that I'm going to share with you as it pertains to decluttering, again, without the overwhelm, is to establish a time limit. Listen, all you need is 30 minutes. You don't need to dedicate 5 hours or an entire weekend to decluttering a small space. 30 minutes a day will get you far, and it's going to help you overcome the overwhelm that you may have because you feel like you have to spend too much time decluttering. One, but then two, is going to help you get, again, those mini win cycles that I was talking about earlier. So set a timer for 30 minutes, and if 30 minutes feels like it's too long for you, maybe set the timer for 15 or 20 minutes. It doesn't matter. But the point is to set a timer, declutter a small space, and just get through it. That is the goal. And again, remember that these 3 tips are going to help you do this process successfully without feeling the overwhelm that you may have felt before when you tried to declutter. All right, y'all, I'm hoping you found this video helpful with these 3 tips to kickstart your decluttering journey. And as always, if you are looking for a little bit more support, I do have the Power of 30 guide, which is my 30-minute guide that teaches you how to properly declutter like a true professional organizer, again, without the overwhelm, which is the whole point of this entire video. Alrighty, friend, that's all I got for you. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will be back next week with another video. And the next video is going to be for those aspiring organizers who are looking to start their own professional organizing business. All right, y'all, see you next week.